Can you hear me? I'd like to call this March the 2nd meeting of the Property and Planning Subcommittee to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Representative Hodges? Here. Representative Leatherwood? Representative Reedy?
Here.
Representative Sexton? Representative Wright?
Here.
Chairman Moody?
Here.
Chairman Carter? Chairman Crawford?
Present.
Chairman Carr?
Here.
Chairman Carr, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have anything from the committee before we start? Seeing none, we'll move right into action on this. Our first bill up today is House Bill 230 by Chairman Vaughn. Chairman Vaughn, you are recognized.
Motion. Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Do you have a brief explanation of that, please?
Yes, sir. What this bill does is it removes some words from the code that would, if we remove these words, which is the words, let's see, from in the discretion of the board. Basically, right now, taxpayers who are appealing their tax bills have the right to appear virtually as long as the board approves it. But what happens is in the board's discretion, my thoughts are is that any taxpayer who prefers to appear virtually, given today's preponderance of technology, that should be an acceptable alternative. It keeps people from being penalized by distance traveled or by their concern about their health. So that would be that's what this bill does, and I would stand here ready to answer any questions.
Any questions to the sponsor? Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Is just one question. This bill is permissive, isn't it?
Well, what it does is it gives the taxpayer the right to be able to appear virtually. It requires the Board of Equalization, if they make the request to appear virtually, to give them that option.
You recognize.
I guess I didn't make myself clear. They are not required to do this electronically. If they want to come into the meeting and plead their case, they're able.
That is for folks who want to. And frankly, I would have to say that I would believe that that's the more effective way to make these appeals. But what this does, this just allows somebody, if they choose to appear electronically, they can, but they do not have to.
Any further questions? Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 230. Moving on to full committee. All those in favor of going on to full committee say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Bill moves on to full committee. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
That brings us down to item number 2, HB 1127 by Chairman Farmer.
Motion on the bill.
As you've been properly motioned and seconded, you are recognized, Chairman Farmer.
Thank you, committee members, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate that. House Bill 1127. This is the same bill I had 2 years ago. Passed this committee, which is a little bit different makeup. Passed the full committee. Same situation there. It was postured to be on the House floor, then COVID hit, and we were trying to make some changes over in the Senate, and things just kind of fizzed out on me. So I'm bringing it back this year. What this bill does is says that if you own properties in the HOA, if you've inherited property, you've made an investment there, and you don't live there and you rent it long-term. This has to do with long-term rentals, okay? This is not short-term. This is 6 months or longer. If you have a long-term rental there, this says that the HOA can't change the rules on you and say, you know what, this has to be a permanent residence. You have to live here because we want to protect that investment that you have. So this would just say that if you rent this property long-term, that the HOA that governs that can't change the rules on you in the middle of the game. And that's what I'm asking the committee to approve.
Representative Chairman Farmer, it also states in there, though, that if you sell that property then becomes under the new HOA. Is that correct?
That
Just
is
to clarify.
absolutely correct. If you sell the property and it's transferred over to someone else, then those new rules and will take effect there. So it absolutely does. Thank you for pointing that out.
Any other questions to the sponsor? Chairman Crawford, you recognize.
Just for clarification, Mr. Chairman, is this the Senate bill basically with the amendments that they were going to make? The Senate bill that you're running now, maybe a little tighter?
Okay, that's a good question. I wasn't aware that there were any amendments on the Senate version. Okay?
Okay.
So I don't know the answer to
It
your question.
was a little different than the House bill was, and I think it narrowed it down and tightened it up a little bit.
Last year?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, just for complete transparency, I have Miss Martha Gentry sitting back here. She represents CAI, the Homeowners Trade Association, and I may bring a couple just technical changes if the committee were to approve this next week. There's just a couple just technical changes that need to be made, and I Other than doing that today, I was going to bring them in writing. So just wanted to let the committee know that. if
Any
that's-
objections? Question been called for. All those in favor of House Bill 1127 moving on to full, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Bill moves on to full committee. Thank you, Chairman Farmer.
Thank you all.
Item number 3, House Bill 831, by Chairman Kumar. Chairman Kumar, you are recognized. Been motioned and seconded. You're in proper form, sir.
Boards. These boards do have the ability or influence upon granting of certain contracts in industry. The reporting of conflicts of interest is inconsistent across the board. There's not a uniform way to do it. Some boards do it very well, others don't do anything at all. And this bill puts it on a uniform level, what is required as far as reporting conflicts of interest when contracts are being awarded. It is to be noted that these are volunteers, so we don't really want to be so imposing upon them as it applies to us. They do not have to disclose their finances. They only disclose if there is direct or indirect conflict of interest.
Thank you. Any questions to the sponsor on the bill? Seeing none, no objection to the question. All those in favor of House Bill 831 moving on to full committee, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Bill moves on to full committee. Thank you, Chairman
you.
Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Thank you.
Any other business to come before the committee? Without objection, we are adjourned. Well, that's the way I do it now, son. He knows.